Yeah. I used to be like, there's something. Yeah.
Is it 7 o'clock on your phone? Yeah, 7 o'clock. Okay. Can we please call the meeting to order at 7 o'clock? The Township of Nipigon Council meeting for Tuesday, November 22nd, 2022. In the spirit of reconciliation, the Township of Nipigon respectfully acknowledges it is located on the traditional lands of the Red Rock Indian Band, signatory to the Robinson Superior Treaty of 1850, and also the historic presence of the Métis. I'm gonna need a little help moving along. Okay. So the first item is disclosures of pecuniary interest.
Mayor Cooper declared 60 homes in the building. No.
Okay. Seeing none, we'll go on to the next item, which is item 2A, minutes, approval of the previous minutes for November 8th, 2022.
I have a comment and question. Okay. Congratulations to Kelly for item resolution number 166/2022. That Nipigon was one of only 4 communities that got Fire Smart funding in Ontario. Yeah, there were a lot that were disqualified for various reasons. So congratulations on your work here, Kelly.
It was a good team effort.
So that was awesome. My question, I have one question about it though. You said it cost of 12,000 plus HST. Is that for, I know the Fire Smart funding is over 2 years and you get half the money each year. Is that 12,000 for
The entire program,
for the, so it's a total of 12,000 over the 2 years?
plus they just.
Okay, perfect. What puts it underneath the 15,000 grants? Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So resolution, there isn't a number on here, so I have
169.
169. So resolution 169, session date November 22nd, 2022, moved by Gordon McKenzie, seconded by John Zechner. I gotta get used to these entered. That the minutes of the oath of, okay. That's not the right one. Sorry. Okay, yeah, they're not in order. So the 169, right? So resolution number 169, session date November 22nd, 2022. That the minutes of the meeting council of November 8th, 2022 are hereby adopted as reported by the clerk. Moved by, would you like to sign the, yeah. Moved by Councilor Sakamoto. Seconded by John Zechner. All in favor? Carry. Oh, sorry. Carry. Okay, and then I sign this, right? Okay. Oops. All right. Item 2B, approve minutes of the oath of office for the meeting on November 15th, 2022. That's the one I have. And what number is that, Kelly?
170.
170. Okay. Resolution number 170, session date November 22nd, 2022, moved by Gordon McKenzie, seconded by John Zechner, that the minutes of the oath of office of council of November 15th, 2022 are hereby adopted as recorded by the clerk. All in favor? Passed. Carried. Right. Okay. So we're on to number 3, finance. 3A, confirm and approve accounts. That is another resolution. That's number 37.
171.
Resolution number 171, session date November 22nd, 2022, moved by Gordon McKenzie, seconded by John Zechner, that the payment of accounts is listed on the following payment voucher B, and the same is hereby confirmed and approved. Payment voucher number 37, 2022, and $28,105.59, and payment voucher number 38, 2022, $3,000, $387.09. All in discussion. Okay, Carrie. Okay, finance 3B. Oh, that's under finance. Okay. Bylaw enforcement position. Is there a resolution for this one?
No, it's just turn it over to staff.
Discussion? Okay.
Staff is here.
But she's learning, but.
So there was an update from CEO Pakanainen on the bylaw enforcement position. I don't know how much I really thought about this or.
We're in negotiations currently, so. If you want to discuss it, we can go on camera. But the goal is to have this position resolved by early next year.
Okay. So there's a partnership here,
Yep.
between, no, don't talk about that at all. Okay. All right.
We want to discuss it with the camera at the end
Okay.
of it, or you just give us a basic report.
Okay. There are no specific names or anything like that, but it would
But
say.
we're in labor negotiations.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
got you. Okay, I get it. All right. Okay. Any further questions? I guess we have to go on camera if there's any questions on that.
You want?
Does anyone want to go in camera to discuss? And we save all the in camera for the end, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So we don't like go up and, yeah,
Yeah, I wouldn't mind this.
in camera?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll bring that to in camera, please. Okay.
That was peer pressure.
PC property tax extension request. Believe that will have to go into camera because it's the discussion of a specific person.
Not necessarily, if council wants to pass it, they can pass the resolution if you want to discuss it.
We've all read it there.
Yeah. Everyone's,
If it's not understood by anybody up here, that's fine, we can go on camera, but if you understand what's going on, if you have questions, it's fine.
I do have some questions.
Okay.
You guys have questions,
Right.
discussion, so we'll put that to in camera as well, please. Yeah. Okay. Next is 3D, the OPP third quarter revenue credits. Any questions for council on that?
It's the only one back, so. Magic cord's been there.
No, it's not.
Okay, Kelly, do you want to, or CEO Pakanainen, do you want to give an update on that or any kind of?
We received quarterly payments from the OPP in regards to fingerprinting expenses that they incur up there. It's minimal, but it does go towards our revenues.
Anyone have any
So
comments?
it's just so I'm clear, so this is revenue for us.
Yes,
They charge for it and then we get money.
we get a percentage of the money through OSS, so Ontario Shared Services will send us a direct payment of that, and it goes into our revenues.
So that's for security check, or
I've never put
fingerprint
that on.
and other.
It was
That's
like
the significant
money we get back as a kickback from OPP.
Question I'm doing, do we get anything in regards to revenue sharing for all?
Sorry, go ahead, sorry.
Is there a revenue stream from all of the fines that were given in local areas? I
Uh,
know, I pursued it before, and there was, but I don't know if the communities get it, I don't know.
it's a little bit complicated. It's based on the OPP structure for targeting. We get into that with the OPP. We'll have the OPP present a
Okay.
quarterly report. So
That's fine, no, I just wondered if that did it, that's been.
Okay. So there's no resolution for that, right? That's the information. Okay. Okay, so item 3E, OMPF funding 2023.
So this funding is based on per capita. Each municipality in Ontario receives cash flow, Ontario Municipal Property Partnership Fund to help finance operational expenses and offsets your taxes. Nipigon hasn't changed. Fortunately, we still receive a total of $1,049,000. If we didn't receive that, we have to recover that in taxes.
Does anyone have any questions? Gordon? Or
Yes, I just had a question for you, Kelly.
Yeah.
Is that amount of money the same as last year?
It's been the same for the last 5 years. We're fortunate though, because a lot of municipalities are seeing a reduction, as it's noted in the thing, of 90%. So some of them are losing 10%. You lose 10%, it's $100,000. For us to recover that on taxes, we close to 3% tax. Yes.
Okay, thanks.
any other questions about? I'm just looking at my list here to see if I have any. So this amount of money isn't used for anything particular, it just goes into the big pot
It goes into for operations,
Yeah.
to try to
operations, okay.
lower or keep our taxes in line.
Okay. Any discussion, move on? Okay, move on. Number 4, Public Works, minutes of November 15th, 2022. I imagine there's a. For that, oh, there we go. Okay, moved by John Zechner, seconded by, is that Kathy Sakamoto? That the minutes of the Nipigon Public Works Committee on November 15th, 2022 are hereby approved, with recommendations approved. So there were recommendations in here. Sorry, can I get resolution number for that one?
172.
172. Okay, so there were some recommendations in the minutes. Number 1 recommendation, council acknowledge receipt of and endorse the winter operations planning document for winter control operations. And the 2023, or should I do those separately? One at a time, doesn't matter. The 2023 annual requests for quotations be let for gravel, equipment rental, safety inspections, landfill cover, concrete curb and sidewalk, pulverize and pave, and trail maintenance, and all with a closing date of noon on January 27th, 2023. Any discussion on that? Okay, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay, Nipigon Marina report. We'll go to staff for an update on that.
So there's a request from council to provide the Nipigon Marina report. It was previously provided before on council. So I also attached the report that was received from JML, who did an above water and underwater study. To look at the damages and then provide options for repairs. Now that was funded by NOHSC in 2021. The options were provided for repairs, and Public Works Superintendent Aiken is cautioning that at some point the main dock will require substantial financial commitment. He included these in the options for the 2022 capital budget, but as you can see from the options, the prices, it's substantial, very, very substantial. And I would assume, and speaking with Public Works Superintendent Aikens, that those prices might have gone up at, I estimated 10 to 15%. He said he'd say would go 20 to 25%. So on a $3.5 million fix, just imagine what we're looking at in that. So the NOHSC funding was applied for and received, and we were successful in filling our obligations. The next step would be going to FedNor, looking possibly at our options. That would be council's decision from the capital budget requests that are coming out here in early January. And what Public Works Superintendent Aiken will do is he'll prioritize what he believes are the best options to fix the problem. The council will decide which route he wants to go.
I just have a question. So the NOHFC grant is for the building of
The
the dock?
NOHSC grant was for the study. They
Oh, that was the
funded the study, and it was a requirement in order to find out our options for repair.
Yeah.
Then to apply to other funding agencies, with the engineered report showing the actual damage that's there. So right now, I mean, if you speak to Public Works Superintendent Aiken, the $3.5 million repair is the adequate repair for a safe main dock. That was the price though in 2021. Inflation hit her.
Sorry, Councillor Stecker?
We have been in touch with FedNor, though. We have been talking to FedNor about this.
I worked with FedNor to do the
Just those
analysis.
that call.
Yeah,
Well, FedNor's already been
they're aware.
aware of this issue.
I just had a question. Do we know if the damage to the dock related to the river currents and the break wall and the changes that were made or?
So there's a number of things involved, and what we looked at was, one of them was to try and prevent ice flowing to the bay. That's why the reasoning for putting the break wall, one of the reasons for putting the break wall back in. And if you notice, if you go down there, it looks like maybe 7/8 of the break wall's in, and there's a little gap between Pancake Island and the break wall. That's the last. That was a recommendation, and I believe Jeff and I talked, and they usually put little grooves in there for the water. I don't know much about the water flow, but that's how it's explained to us. Now, we've been observing over the last 2 winters, and we'll observe this winter again, the ice flow continuing into the bay, because that's what we think was a major factor in damaging the dock.
Okay, I couldn't remember whether, the damage happened before the brick wall was adjusted or after.
There was a few factors involved in the damage being involved that we're aware of. One, we tried to fix with the break wall. The other one, we have no option on besides repairing the dock.
Just making the dock sturdy and then to.
If it's through the options, you can see you can do quick fixes, which I think that's what it is a quick fix.
You're dealing with strong river currents.
Yeah, there's a number of factors that are affecting the dock structure.
So whatever you can do, you'll do first and then the dock later. There isn't any time frame and.
Well, we tried to do cost effective measures. We tried to basically secure everything around it before we invest in the dock. Right? We don't want to fix the dock and then still have the same problem occurring again. Right?
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
So I've been working with different ministries and stuff and identifying the best fixes along with Jeff and engineers. Yeah.
Councillor McKenzie?
Yes, Kelly, I was just wondering, with this redesign, that was strictly for the fixed dock, right?
Yes,
Like, we're just talking the fixed dock.
not the floating docks,
We're
just
not
the
talking
main,
about
just the main one.
any floating docks. Okay, I'm just talking out loud here. I've been down to South Baymouth on Manitoulin Island, and they have a fixed dock, but it's fixed onto the land structure. And from there, they have floating docks that can accommodate, various heights of boats, but things like that. Has that been part of the conversation?
We have looked at replacing the entire dock structure with floating docks. We have looked at fixing the dock to the current sheet piling that's there. We've looked at sheet piling. Nothing is cost effective to remedy this current situation. The dock itself, I mean, the top of it's the easy fix, the stuff that's in the water is the hard fix. So if you want to remove the dock structure and put a whole new thing there, you got pilings that might be 8-10 feet into the bed of the waterway. So there's a lot of stuff underneath the water, which this report, which is public, shows you what's going on underneath the dock.
Yeah, so are we, just more or less looking at a fix similar to something that happened at Silver Island, for example? Where they put in a major repair to the dock, is gonna be, that'll be it. We're not gonna have to revisit this, 10 years from now again.
Public Works Superintendent can like to do a permanent repair, but again, it's gonna be council's decision. With the costs associated, it might eat up your entire capital budget, so that'll be discussions of finance.
I just, if no one else has anything else to say, I just have I'm big on planning, and I think that definitely we obviously need a new wharf, but I think in alignment with that, we might look at doing a land asset management plan down at the waterfront. It's we're gonna have a marquee building built down there in the Discovery Center. It's gonna be a showcase. There's gonna be a lot of people going down there, and I feel like we need a plan to have like pathway, not just for the dock and what Gordon was talking about there with the other finger dock systems and things like that. I think with a land asset management plan, we can look at different options and different scenarios for docking that would fit the river. Like we get engineers and people that understand the ice flow and all that stuff. And they have different ways of different options of the finger docks with the wharf and how people access the boat launch and things like that. I think that might be worth looking into, maybe even prior to looking at building a new wharf.
Suzanne, would that be part of our strategic plan then, when we're in our strategic planning, that this is a component of it?
I don't think so. I think it would be on its own, but it could be like a suggestion or recommendation from the strategic plan to do a land management plan. Yeah, and then that's a good way to get funding. And there's options to do the planning side of things, like I don't want to name specific organizations and things like that, but they like to do the funding for the planning as opposed to capital. So councillors,
I just reiterate what Kelly was saying. I mean, Kelly's been in touch with Bednar, the township's been in touch with the governmental. So giving us funding, and I think what happened here is we were cut off through COVID. There was no more grants, and this kind of stuff was just pushed aside. Could be very beneficial to us, but if they break ground next year, the new building goes up. I mean, obviously it's federal. They're gonna want a nice dock. They're gonna want the best of whatever we can get out there. So, I mean, it'll be all tie in. So if we just keep moving forward on this and working with the MCA, I do believe at one point in time, we're gonna have that all happen. I think so.
Yeah.
They're not gonna let us get away.
No.
National Marine is on the water. They're gonna want nice stuff.
and the great thing about a land asset management plan too is it can look at the camping side of things too, like the
Absolutely.
tenting and the paths to get from.
That's what I mean, that.
Right. And Parks Canada is focusing on that piece of land that they build their parking lot, everything on, and they're building, but everything else is ours to look at and improve and to make user friendly. So I think that's an option to look at anyways. Councillor McKenzie.
I just got one other comment. I know when our new dock went in, that was 10 years ago. And I remember when I was on council, I'd asked for different kinds of guarantees. And we only ended up with a 5-year guarantee, which was unfortunate. And you look back, it's been 10 years now. And now we don't have a dock, So I guess it behooves us that when we do enter into some negotiations with whoever does actually do that dock, that we have some kind of a guarantee that it's gonna last, it's gonna be secure and last a good period of time.
Next item, 4C, public works staffing. Get an update from staff on that.
This was requested from Mayor Kuko, regarding staffing at the Public Works Department. Staffing levels haven't changed. COVID, essentially have Public Works and NCC. So just to be clear, Public Works and NCC are the same. They're all one union. With the arena closed, we had NCC staff out doing garbage. They had to be separated. So the only difference that went on is when our water treatment plant operator retired in 2019, our internal options vote came from the community center, which left the community center one person forward. We addressed that. Unfortunately, that one didn't work out. We addressed it again. That one didn't work out. And as recently as I believe a month ago, we finally got back to having a full complement of employees, but there's public works staff has never been filled. So I'm not really sure how to answer that.
Yeah, okay, just, I was just asking for confirmation that we are at a full complement, just with increased sickness, you know, like we all used to, you know, grit our teeth and bear it when we were feeling a little sick and going to work anyways, right? And now that's not acceptable, so I just wanted to make sure that, you know, in case of sickness or anything else, God forbid, that we're still good to go with the snow and and everything else, so that's good to hear. Succession plan is also good to keep in mind as well. People near retiring age. I think that's it. Anyone else have any questions or comments? Okay. All right. Number 5A, we'll move on to. And that item is NCC Canteen Lease Bylaw 2022-23 season. Let's hear from staff on that.
Okay, so this was advertised, had 2 applicants. Recreation Committee was forward with applicants. They forwarded a recommendation to hire Andrew St. Jean, Krabby Andy's to operate the canteen from October 1st, 2022 to March 31st, 2023 at a monthly rate of $600, which is an increase of about $150 from the previous rental rates. This recommendation was then brought to council and approved. Previous council forwarded the agreement and bylaw for this council to consider, and Mr. St. Jean has provided liability insurance and all other requirements to meet the requirements to operate the canteen for this season.
Any discussion?
And I just, he was the best bidder? Can't say the lowest bidder.
It went to the both bids in their entirety, went to the Recreation Committee, and the Recreation Committee recommended Mr. St. Jean.
How like,
Yeah, and then they forward the recommendation to council and then council.
Yes, Councilman.
I don't think you necessarily want the lowest bidder on that, take into account there.
well, I was just wondering what the criteria was,
Yeah.
but if the recreation committee decides on the criteria, that's.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if that happens. Okay, I was just looking in the. There are questions, right, about that. I didn't see maybe I missed it, but I didn't see the point of the, on the lease agreement for the insurance. That it was. But is it there? I didn't. I missed it.
He has shown his insurance.
Yeah, I was just thinking. that maybe-
No, we'll add that into
We'll
the agreement.
And I don't think it's necessary for this, but maybe for the next lease agreement, just to list all the equipment that comes with it, would probably be helpful as well. That comes with the kitchen. I'm just thinking just for in case something. I'm not insinuating anybody in particular who's there right now and taking it, but in case something goes missing or something goes broken or something like that, or what have you, I think it would be important to have a list unless it's an attachment on here, but I don't see it. Just for next time, I don't think it's necessary, but just to list all the kitchen equipment that comes with the lease would maybe be helpful. to prevent any future problems. Councilor McKenzie.
Yes, thank you. I just had one other comment. I'm happy to see that, item number 9 in a signature page there, for the lease agreement, says that you would promote healthy eating options and in the community center. So I'm really, that gives me some encouragement that, there's gonna be other food stuffs that are gonna be offered. And I know, at some of the other, arenas on the North Shore, they've had a lot of luck, for example, offering, fruits and vegetables, grapes and things like that. So I'm happy to hear that that's also part of the lease agreement.
Yes, Councilor
I have a
Sekudo.
question, and maybe it's inappropriate to ask, but do we still have someone that's has issues with the canteen being run?
I won't discuss that.
Okay. So that's,
We can move it in camera if you wish.
it probably wouldn't hurt if we can discuss that, just so we're aware of what's going on, if we, with approving this.
Yeah, so we'll wait to sign that and move it until we go into camera.
Yeah, with this, Kelly, you said March 23rd of this, of the 2023.
March 31st, yeah.
Okay, what will they do then? I guess, well, subject to another part, will they just look at doing another tender if somebody wants to run it for the summer?
That'll be council's decision. Okay. Staff recommended last summer not to do summer. It'll be up to council, we'll bring it to council again for operations in February and see how we want to proceed.
Thanks, thank you.
So we'll move that on to in camera. Item 6A, economic development, item, she shed request. Staff?
So I provided you all the information. This again was carried over from the previous council and we saw this council. You just received this information on Friday. I've given you everything that I provided from fair market value rent, their business plan, and that. They have requested the lease of the Edge Arts building. That's what's proposed to council. We did just receive this on Friday.
Any points of discussion, Councilor Zach?
I've been through all this, read all this. I think it's great. It's great. I just don't know if the rest of you are up to date enough to make a decision on this tonight. Or should we move this to the next meeting? I don't know what time order other than. Or go in camera so you can have some discussion on it. I mean, I just don't want, I just don't want to make discussion. There's decisions based on my,
Yeah,
I know I feel.
I think everyone and Pierre, like you said, you need to take a look.
Just
at
an
it.
update. I mean, I see it all here. We
Yeah.
can see their plan is great,
Yeah.
but, when the Townsend in there, and we should maybe just discuss this.
Yep, so let's go in camera for that.
I'll recommend though, they've made everything public.
Yep, but I understand that. Okay, totally understand. We could,
No, Councilor Pelche is, I agree with that we should go in camera for that. Just to look at it, doesn't look at that. Okay, economic development 6B, I have declared pecuniary interest on this as I'm an employee of the organization, so I am going to, I guess, mute and then you let me know when the discussion is over. Okay. Who would deal with the
Councilor Secretary, you're acting.
resolution? One person, those ones everyone through. I don't see one person here coming here.
I don't think we're.
Okay. Okay,
okay, this is Superior Country, looking for, I believe it's an advertising. A yearly advertising fee, which, is $500.
So the previous council passes, when you pass an operational budget, you previously already approved these type of expenses. This is the yearly expense we normally look at. I just like to bring it to council, make council aware that we're
It's an advertising event, it's,
we've done this advertisement. Probably for sure, last 6 months.
We've been in every year, we get a good advertising out of it, they do a good job.
And it costs us $500.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. He's just bringing us aware of that so that, we see where it is, it's all right in front. But then also go forward with that.
Okay. Next item on the agenda, number 6, planning, deeming bylaw, Corella and rats. Do we have any discussion on that?
and this can be done not in town.
No, this.
Unless you discuss it.
If there's
If
discussion,
you have any discussion, questions regarding identifiable individuals, we have to go and count. But this is just a very straightforward planning request.
It's a plan.
Okay.
It's a planning request, they're asking if they can combine it to properties,
Oh, makes sense.
which has been, it's went through the last 2 months.
My question was just in regards to, because I started reading the official plan, which I thought, when I was looking for the strategic plan. And I see a lot of, we're trying to get the best use of our in-town lots.
Yeah.
So this will fit within that. I realize that those are fairly small lots in that part of town
And they are elevated, so, the lots are kind of slanted. This lot's been vacated for 15+ years. I believe they've been in touch with the chief building official about, they don't have any room to put an accessory building on their current lot.
Yeah.
So,
I don't have a problem with that, but I wanted to be sure that I was clear, because when I'm reading is, that we want to make sure we get the best use of our in-town lots.
during the deeming process, all individuals that will be affected by this within a certain area will have an opportunity to send questions or send appeals to it happening as well. So there'll be a public forum available. If council does pass this deeming bylaw, the next is a public notice, and then there's direct notices. Anybody can comment on it. Yeah, okay.
okay, so, resolution number
174.
174, moved by Gordon McKenzie, seconded by, John Zeckner, that leave be given to introduce a bylaw to deem a part of a registered plan number 745, not to be registered plan of subdivision, that the bylaw be read a first and second time, and that the said bylaw be read a third time. Finally passed and numbered bylaw 191 of the Township of Nipigon.
19113, 1913.
1913, okay, I'll correct that. So, is there something I have to read over a second time or a third time or
No,
something?
you've read it.
That's fine, okay. Okay, so, call the question, all in favor? And carried. Okay, sundries, A, township committees.
So I provided you all of the township committees and subcommittees. So township committees are committee of council, those recommendations are brought directly towards council. The subcommittees are subcommittees of the committees, lots of committees, all right? So, for example, the Blueberry Blast Committee is a subcommittee of recreation. Blueberry Blast Committee has a recommendation for council. It goes to the recreation committee, then the recreation committee brings it to council. I gave you the list of everything. I'm just asking you over the next 2 weeks to kind of pick which committees you want to be involved in. If you have any questions regarding when they meet, any of those specifics. One common practice we normally do is if there's someone from the previous council that comes to the next council, we give them the opportunity to stay with the committee that they're currently on. Now that's up to council, but that's a good practice of continuity. You'll notice the fire department and the public works committees aren't on there. The fire department's committee is made up of their membership. Public Works Committee is made up of council and we have one community rep. Anybody who's interested in the Public Works Committee is allowed to put an application into the township.
But I am the rep of the fire.
So currently, Councillor Zecker is the rep for the fire department, has been on there for the last term. And he's also the rep for the recreation.
Councillor McKenzie?
Yes, Kelly, just for clarification, you know, with the Public Works Committee, like the committee meetings are open to the public, right?
Yes.
So anyone.
All
that
committee
interested can attend.
All committee meetings are open to the public.
So then if let's say someone has an issue on their street, they can, you know, they can attend and make a presentation, right?
Well, they have to go through the presentation. They have to send to a meeting requesting a delegation.
Okay.
At that meeting, then it will be approved, and then they'll be scheduled at a future meeting to put the presentation.
Okay. And generally speaking, again, I'm just talking about public works. Normally it's just council members that have been like that in the past, or have they been
No, so we did a lot of research on this, and in the late nineties, early 2000s, there was 2 civilian members.
okay?
And then there was conflicts and stuff, whatever happened. And then they went off, and then we had a civilian member when we put a call for committee members, that was showed interest.
Okay. Thank you.
Sundry 7B, council, meeting schedule for 2022-23.
So as you can see in option 1, the 2 meetings in December are listed as December 6th and December 22nd. You have 3 different options for meetings. It's up to council to pick one to make. I'll just note that June, July, and August, we only have 1 meeting per month.
I'm good with number 1.
Okay, I didn't realize there were 2 options here.
I say that every year.
What's the difference?
There's some dates that are gonna be close to long weekends that we need to
Oh.
cover. But we don't, there's only one that falls on one, like after, the day after the law.
And then the ones that are circled are holidays, right?
Correct.
Staff holidays.
So I say,
So you think that one is good?
I don't know, I always say one.
The only one thing I'll say with 1 is you have 3 meetings right after long weekends.
I like 2.
Okay.
Because I have a conflict on January the 24th, other than that.
You can miss meetings.
Yeah.
Let-
Issue, so whatever.
Well, directly to jail, no process. Yeah, okay. So, are we good for 2 then? 2 is good. Everything happen every one weekend. Which will be easier for staff and those that work full time. Okay, so, oh, sorry.
Which one are we going for then?
I think number 2.
Number 2.
Everyone okay with number 2?
You sure, John?
Is there,
That's my favorite.
is there a resolution for that? Or is that just a decision that we make here? Oh, here we go, it's right on top. I'm starting to lose it. Okay. The top one's not signed, so Kathy, do you want to sign this one? The resolution for the council meeting dates? No, yeah. And what's the resolution number for this?
175.
175. Resolution 175, for November 22nd, 2022, moved by, Councillor Sakamoto, seconded by Councillor McKenzie, that this council hereby sets the regular meeting of scheduled dates for the remainder of 2022 and for 2023, as provided by the clerk, option number 2.
We'd be able to get a paper copy of that in our. I appreciate that. You know, when you're and I, helps me out.
All in favor? Oh, well, you're number 2, you better put your hand up. Carried. Okay, another one. Procedural bylaw, number 7C, procedural bylaw.
Oh.
What's that? Oh. Oh, the meeting relocation, okay, so, yeah. So there's a request that, the meetings be relocated now back to the township, office. Do we have any discussion on that resolution?
I prefer the township office myself, I think it makes it easier for staff. We got moved over here with COVID, and we had to change the procedure by law to get that to happen, and then he just has to make a change to get it, returned back to the house quarters and. But I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like noisy, like, because we had to just close the running around and stuff. I just would like to make, a request that we start that for the meeting after December the 6th. As the librarian has something in there in that room that has been planned for quite some time. And, it would be really difficult, for her to move that around, so if that's okay with everybody.
Sorry, I know, at least, just tell you, as long as everybody knows, you probably know it's, the temperature in there is, it's not fixed yet, isn't it?
No,
It can be really, really hot in that room or really cold, so. We don't have a very good system in there, so.
So
Just
don't
so everybody
wear a
knows.
sweater. Wear a layer. Don't wear a sweater. Yeah,
So
no.
just for confirmation, so our meeting of December the 6th will be here.
That's what I'm asking for, if that's okay. I mean, they've been going on here for a couple of years. What's one more day to make it a little bit easier for the librarian? Yeah.
It's easy when it's starting the new year too.
I think, well, when's the next meeting after the 6th?
December 20th.
January 3rd.
Yeah, so starting in the new year, guys? Hey, starting in the new year?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, beginning, I'll just write beginning 20.
Are you amending the resolution?
I don't know what I
It
do.
has to be
Do that?
signed by the.
They haven't signed it.
To pass it.
They haven't signed it yet.
So you can change
Okay,
an initial.
beginning. 2020. So, moved by. Resolution number?
176.
So resolution number 176, moved by Councillor McKenzie, seconded by Councillor Zeckner, that leave be given to amend bylaw number 1866 to govern the proceedings of council, the conduct of its members and the callings of meetings. The bylaw be read a first and second time, the said bylaw be read a third time, finally passed and numbered bylaw 191, the Township of Nipigon.
1914.
191 for the Township of Nipigon, coming into effect 2023 and initialed by self and Councillor McKenzie and Councillor Zeckner. All in favor? Carried. Thunder Bay DSAB update from the board. We'll go to council for staff for that.
So we rotate between Nipigon, Red Rock, and Dorian on reps on the board. Former councillor James Folds represented us last term on the DSAB, and this term will be Councillor Nancy Glavine from the Township of Red Rock. I gave you information on how to contact her if you have any DSAB questions.
Councillor McKenzie?
Yeah, I just would like to publicly thank James for his service on that board because it's a very big endeavor. It takes up a lot of time, it takes a big commitment, and you know, his efforts have been shown in town here, like the Bell Street Center, a number of other items that he was on with DSAB. So I just would like to go on record, you know, publicly thanking him for that service.
Okay. Yes.
And this is just, I have no idea what that acronym means.
Thunder Bay Districts also services administration board. Thank you. That's what you
Everybody
said.
sees that.
But it does bring up for me, and I know this is pending, but it would be helpful, the standard is usually in a document, you view out what the term means, and then you put in brackets the acronym, and then you can continue to use the acronym. It's always nice to have that first.
Yeah,
Okay,
and that's just informational. I don't think there's any resolution on that. 7E Parks Canada Discovery Center update. So I can give that update. I attended the LSNMCA, which is the Lake Superior National Marine Conservation Area. I had to think about that for a second. Interim liaison committee meeting. So that was on November 16th, in the evening there. So I'm just gonna give you the update on the building, because I know Councillor Pelletier was interested in hearing about the update, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of the community members would like to hear as well. It's not substantial, I'm just warning you. So Garth Rennerud, I think that's how you say his name. He's the asset manager for the Northern Ontario Field Unit, and he's the lead for the discovery of the LSNMCA Discovery Center and Office Building. So he gave an update at the meeting. The tender phase for the building is currently in process. And because it's a project of a certain size, price, it must be run through the Public Service Procurement Canada. So the project is a two-part tender. The tender should be released this winter with the expectation that shovels go in the ground in spring 2023 with an 18-month to 2-year construction window. So we're talking about two construction seasons to complete that building. This construction, and this is the point of contention for many. The construction did not commence this summer due to the tender not being up to ready to Parks Canada's standards. So the building as described, and I'll describe the building, it's a very complex build. And we just wanted to make sure that they were getting that tender right before it went out, to make sure that they had all their ducks in a row. Further information cannot be shared, as this gives a clear bidding advantage to those who choose to participate in the bidding process. So there were a bunch of questions for him, and there were things he couldn't share, just like the price and all that kind of stuff, just because it gives an advantage if that stuff gets out there. But the building characteristics, it's a 5-sided building, 200 meter square display area. It's a net positive, so it uses 42 kilowatt hours per meter squared per year, but actually generates 90. So it generates double the power, more than double the power what it actually uses. So that was kind of neat. It'll be a marquee building in Northwestern Ontario, of the first passive house museum interpretive center in the country. You can Google passive house, I'm not gonna explain it. It will be the most efficient building in all of Parks Canada's inventory. So it's gonna be a pretty cool engineering marvel, and there's gonna be a lot of people not just wanting to look inside, but interested in the way it's built and how it's humming along. So pretty cool. Any discussion, any sort of questions?
There was no date.
No, because that would have to come with the tender, right? Like the firm who's building would have to, yeah, spring though.
Yes.
They're anxious to get it. Yeah.
2006.
I mean, they want their beautiful office building as well, right? Like
But even then, like, they never assessed, if you come in like now, the way things are, could be 25 to 50% higher than they anticipated last year.
yeah, well, they're aware of that, and that may, I don't know for sure, but that may have been a factor as well, yeah. So, but that's the update from the meeting. Yeah. Number 7, sundries, Roma 2023. Scott, can we get a,
They're asking if anyone's gonna attend according to the council expense policy, the mayor and one member of council is delegated to attend. They're asking if you want to have any delegations. In the past, council, Roma and Obra used to be combined, they've now broken apart. Council usually focuses on Obra, not the Roma delegation.
Is it, would it be beneficial for you to explain the policy that came into effect the last council. For travel. You know, I mean, we could all go to it if we like.
Yes.
It's just understand that
You have a budget,
changes have been made and there's a budget for council.
which I provided in your council orientation package.
What is it?
Yeah.
Thank you. I missed that.
Okay, discussion, anyone, I would be interested in going as the mayor. Is anyone interested in going or having comments, council?
Yeah, I just was wondering, for sending a delegation, do we really have our priorities in mind yet? Like, do we really know which minister we really want to meet with? Because, you know, it's fairly expensive and you want to make sure that you get the right person and you have the right people with you. Ontario Good Roads Association normally, like Jeff would come and, you know, a staff member would come down that's knowledgeable of what's happening. So I'm just wondering for Roma in particular, and it's coming up pretty quick and we're a brand new council, except for John. You know, the experience is what the priorities of the mayor should be. I'm just wondering about, you know.
I mean, I think we need to attend it, whether, I mean, it's that. When I first got on council, we went to I believe it was Roma, and I think the whole group went. No, it's a huge expense for the town, but it's a great way for the new council and mayor to get together and see how it all runs, because it was really eye-opening to me. One of the big things I would be after is dedicated funding for fire departments. It's Minister Jones. I mean, it's a big thing I've been pushing for 4 years, and we can get into it forever and ever, but there is no funding for fire departments, so it needs to come over. That's one big thing, but I'm just saying, speaking from when I know it is costly to the township, but it's a good way to start off with all council, seeing what goes on, because they're all very similar. But that's up to you. I would be interested in that.
Okay, well, if you think that it's important for like a new.
I just-
council member to go, I think that.
It's costly and it comes out of your budget, the budget is set already, so. I mean, it just maybe lack of another. Conference to go to, or there's only 3 of them, so that we go to our 100.
I've pointed out in the past that the important ones that we defined over the years is OGRA, Ontario Good Roads Association, AMO, which is usually the end of summer. That's Association of Municipalities of Ontario. It's very important to go to the ones North and Ontario Municipal Associations in front of a district municipal. It's very important. That's the voice of the North. Those 4 are the ones that we've always tried to send delegations to. But if you want to attend Roma, we'll register you and get the delegations together, but it's going to be based on staff recommendations mostly.
I agree with that, but when those recommendations have to be in,
28,
yeah, I think we got a while.
Yeah, not a while, a week.
But I mean, if we get a few, we're only gonna get 2 of them anyway, so, it just. I believe it's important. For
Yeah.
More than one to go for sure.
Okay.
And see how it works, and presenting, I mean,
Yeah. Oh, I would like to go with you.
I would support the 2 of you going. I don't know if I would, at this point, because I'm on such a learning curve and I don't have a strategic plan yet. John has a vision of what he's doing is there, and I may be interested in the roads.
Okay. And okay, and we have the staff, that will give us some,
If you're interested, let staff know they want to go, that's
Yeah.
basically that needs to
Okay.
be done tonight.
so myself and, Councilor Zach are interested in going, let staff know that right now. Perfect. Okay, 7 Sundries G, Emergency Management Tabletop Exercise 2022. We'll go to staff for that one, please.
We're required by Emergency Management Ontario to hold a tabletop exercise as part of our emergency planning. I provided the date and schedule. It's important the council attends. We place vital roles during an emergency, and it's a requirement we have to do. We're also required to have the CMG Community Emergency Management Group, which is composed of myself, the mayor, public works superintendent, and fire chief. They'll be meeting after the tabletop exercise. Throughout the year, we have, there's a lot of work associated to emergency management, but this is the accumulation of all that work is this tabletop exercise, which is attended by, OPP, fire departments, ambulance, emergency management officers. We try to get the Red Cross, anybody who would be involved in an emergency to come and participate. So the morning is an education. We usually have a speaker that comes and speaks. And then in the afternoon, we actually have to do a scenario where you play your parts in an emergency.
Okay, discussion? Yeah, I will not be able to attend. I have a prior commitment and I will not be here, so.
I can't, give a absolute okay because. I can be there that day, I will.
Councilor McKenzie?
I'll be there.
Okay, Councilor McKenzie will be in attendance. Okay, and Councilors Pelche and Sakamoto will be in attendance. Mayor Kuko and Zechner will not. Okay, so I think we'll end the public portion of the meeting. I'm not sure how we do this to go in camera. Okay,
I propose though to move any other business, change the agenda, put any other business before you go.
oh, okay,
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
all right. So number 9, any other business is normally when we go around, sort of a round table, just the councilors and mayor can just bring up anything that they'd like to say on a comment basis, right? Okay, so we'll start with Councilor Sexton.
I would just like to welcome the new mayor and the councilors to council. I know I've been here the last 4 years. I'm very excited to start working with the new group and moving forward. Hope we have a good 4 years.
Councilor McKenzie.
You took my thunder.
That usually happens.
That's why you're there.
I've been away from council for 4 years and quite happy to be back on council and looking forward to working with the staff and all the other councilors and the mayor. It's a lot of strengths here.
Councilor Pelche.
I guess for me, it's a whole new learning curve. I've got 13 years of First Nation politics, and I'm been a lifelong member of Nipigon, so I'm here to try to help. See if we can move the Arctics and Nipigon a long ways in the next 4 years. And we have a good group of guys to work with, and I think that'll happen.
Councilor Sakamoto.
I'm on a big learning curve. This is my first dipping my toes into politics. But I do have a question. I don't know if this is appropriate for our audience. So we didn't pre-approve some of the resolutions. We went through discussion. It took us an hour, which I think is quite reasonable. Are the people in the audience happy with how the meeting is went? Are you able to get information? You think this is a good way to communicate? Is this helpful for communicating?
I don't think they're allowed to comment, but maybe afterwards, like, yeah, option about. If anyone has any comments, please direct them to our emails or copy us all if you're emailing us. Let us know how you like tonight's meeting. Are you finished? Okay, so yeah, super excited, happy to be here. Just like a few of us, I'm on a learning curve, and I'm ask for your patience and kindness in the process as we all sort of figure out how this works. And I just wanted to remind everybody that the holiday train is coming back on December the 2nd, and the Legion will be holding a spaghetti dinner. I'm not sure what time the spaghetti dinner is happening, but I believe it's to raise money for the Legion. I'm not sure when is getting money as well. I'm not sure. You'll have to check with the Legion folks on that. And the holiday train is expected to arrive about 5:30. I won't be around. I'll be on the train coming from Scriber. Woo! So I'm not going to be at the spaghetti dinner, unfortunately. You won't see me around, but it's not because I'm not happy and jolly. It's because I'm on the train. So yeah, just a reminder to bring food, the cash donations. I know some people get super excited and they sometimes forget to bring those donations, but that's what that evening is all about, is to support the food bank. So that's all I have. So this meeting, will adjourn, public meeting will adjourn at, what do I do?
No, you just read the resolution.
Oh, there's a motion.
You're not in charge.
This one here? Okay, resolution 177, moved by John Zechner, seconded by Gordon McKenzie, that this council do now convene to an in-camera session and discuss identifiable individuals, legal agreements, and leasing of municipal property.